This is America, more specifically Baltimore, Maryland, where I was born and raised. This is Japan, where I've been living for nearly a decade of my life. Which one is better and why?
Hi, my name is Anim and I'm an American living in Japan for almost 9 years.
You may think that this is a video bashing America since that's what's trending lately, but honestly, I love my home country and my host country, but there are things both countries could definitely improve on. This video is my personal evaluation of life in both the US and Japan. Today I will be speaking on dating in Japan versus the US, being black in the US versus Japan, food in Japan versus the US, and more. This video is just my personal opinion and my personal experiences living in both countries. Let's start with dating. This is a really big topic, so if you want me to make a full-on video about dating in Japan, how to date in Japan, please let me know in the comment section below. Let's start with the easiest part of this subject matter for me, which is dating in the US. It's not that I'm not attracted to American guys, because I am attracted to American guys, but I'm an American, but I have never really dated an American guy in my life. I'm attracted to American guys, but it just so happens that during my dating ages in the US, I was mainly in one long-term relationship. Actually, I can count on 3 fingers how many dates I've been on with an American guy, because it was 3 guys, 3 different American guys, and all of them were first dates. So yeah, I can't really compare Japanese guys to American guys just because I don't really have much experience with American guys. But moving on to dating in Japan. I'm a content creator, so before I make a video, I usually research what type of videos you guys want to see. I looked on YouTube, I looked on TikTok and Instagram. If you check all of these sources, you will find so many foreigners complaining about dating in Japan and how non-existent dating in Japan is. If you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're going to get the same results. If you look at all of these videos, you will find some commonalities. I am a shy person, I'm pretty introverted, but I understand that if I want to have Japanese friends, if I want the discounts, if I need help finding a guarantor for an apartment or whatever, I have to open my mouth. So that's why I decided to focus full on Japanese, and because of that, I've been getting amazing results.
Earn, and earn. Hold on, Aaron, earn, and iron, earn. Damn, what the f? We really talk like that? Let me see it. Earn, the iron. What? Earn, the iron. No, Aaron earned an iron, earn. Earn, the iron.
Baltimore to Dummy Avenue.
Just say it. Daddy.
Stupid iron, Aaron, car, toilet, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, sink. Aaron earned mother, brother.
I think a lot of foreigners, what they mean to say when they can't find dates is that they can't find any quality dates. Most often, especially if you're a white foreigner, Japanese people will approach you because you're white and they want to try you out. If you're a person of color, you can still find dates, but most likely you're going to have to make the first move. Fetishization is alive and well in Japan, so it's on both ends. So Japanese people really fetishize foreigners, and foreigners really fetishize especially Japanese women. It can be extremely off-putting, and I think this is what many content creators mean when they complain about dating in Japan, because at least in my experience, finding a date is pretty simple. Finding a quality date is more difficult, but it's not impossible. You just have to speak Japanese. I've even heard in some cases that the fetishization was the stepping stone to the relationship. So it depends on how you look at it. Honestly, for me, when people come up to me just because I'm black, it is kind of off-putting. The last date that I went on was with a Korean guy, and he wouldn't stop talking about drugs. I think it was because I'm black. I never messaged him again after that first and only date.
black in Japan versus being black in the US. I can sum up the two experiences like this. In Japan, if someone is racist against you or doesn't like you, most likely it's just gonna be their problem. In the US, if someone doesn't like you or if they're racist against you, they're gonna make it your problem. So I was born in Baltimore, Maryland, which is a predominantly black area, but I grew up in the county, which is predominantly white. In the US, I was always reminded that I was black from my family, from jokes, from my friends, everywhere. It was everywhere. Living in these areas, I was always reminded how different I was because people would always ask me where I was from or why I spoke the way I spoke, or worse, when people would come up to me and ask for drugs or approach me using Ebonics. As an American, I completely understand the historical context on why we identify each other by colors. There is a reason why we do that. But I think we are just overly sensitive to the subject that we bring it into other cultures and other contexts when it's not relevant. Trigger warning, American racism doesn't really exist outside of America. How it is in the US, aggressive, life-threatening, historic, and just pure hatred, that's all American. In the US, we are so sensitive about race that even when people point out someone's difference in hair texture or the color of someone's skin, we call it racist when it's just a fact. We have different physical features.
My landlord was there for us.
Yeah.
They were ready and willing to help us at any time. If I'm speaking for myself, I know that China is a great place. People will treat you different because you're a foreigner, not because they hate you or not because they dislike you, but because you are different. When you're more open and you try to engage Chinese people by speaking their language,
Yeah.
they just open up.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
they glow. When they speak a bit of Chinese,
Yeah.
oh man, they'll welcome you to their home.
And now for the black people out there that are saying, Trey, you're full of shit, I don't believe a word that you're saying. There's no black people that live there. There's still racism that's there. While some of those things are true, I need you to understand that once you actually step on the ground here in Europe, and once you're actually able to experience the things that we have, and that millions of other black people have, meaning opportunities, better opportunities, safety, appreciation, value, you don't have any room to talk.
In Russia, I've never been treated less than. I've never been followed around in a store like I'm going to steal something. I've never been treated different from my husband Fedor at a restaurant. Never, ever, ever.
No matter how many black travel vloggers say this, it always seems to trigger people. People really want us to talk about our hardships and racism in these various countries that we're living in or we're visiting. But the reality is, a lot of us don't really face it. Like, yes, there are some instances, but overall, it's completely different to what you're going to face in the US. Don't get me wrong, if you're looking for racism or xenophobia here in Japan, you can definitely find it. But it's just amazing how it's easier to find if you don't speak Japanese. And this is why in all of my videos, I talk about the importance of learning some Japanese before you come to Japan. What I find in Japan, if I find racism, it's not usually racism, it's just prejudice. As a black person in Japan, as long as I speak the language and I go out of my way to talk to people and meet people, I am treated pretty much like anyone else that is a foreigner.
It's not that, dummy. It's Aaron.
Baltimore to Dummy Avenue, Stupid, Aaron. Oh, no.
Baltimore to Dummy Avenue, Stupid, Iron, Aaron, Car, Toilet.
Baltimore to Dummy Avenue, Stupid, Iron, Aaron, Car, Toilet, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Sink, Aaron, Earn, and Iron. Mother, brother, bing bong. Follow me on Instagram at JOLY.BeMore.
Earned and iron earned, dummy. Aaron earned and iron earned.
Before coming to Japan, I used to think that Japanese food was so healthy because they ate so much fish and so many vegetables.
I was wrong. Traditional Japanese home-cooked food is healthy, not necessarily the chain restaurants or the bentos that you may eat. I think in the US we have the image that Japanese people eat a lot of healthy food, but according to my doctor, that is not quite true. So especially in the cities, a lot of us eat a lot of chain restaurant food that is high on pork and rice. And that is why a lot of people in the cities get constipated. Being here for almost 10 years, I have to admit I'm getting kind of tired of Japanese food. Japanese food is good, but it gets kind of bland. I miss some spices, I miss some flavor. One of my biggest frustrations about living in Japan for so long is the lack of variety in different foods. If I want to eat exotic foods like Mediterranean food or Ethiopian food, which I love, I have to travel really far to get it, and it's gonna be expensive. We all know that American food and American ingredients are not healthy, so I'm not gonna talk about that. What I miss about food in America is the variety. I would eat different cuisines every single week. Every single week I was eating Mexican, Ethiopian, Italian, Japanese, Chinese, Mediterranean, and I never thought twice about the fact that I was doing so until I came to Japan, because I can't do that. In conclusion, is it better to live in Japan or to live in the US? There is something that no other country I feel like is doing right now that America is doing, has done, and continues to do really well. The longer I stay outside of America, the more I actually appreciate it. If you watch a Japanese movie, like everyone's gonna be Japanese. If you watch like a Korean movie, everyone's gonna be Korean. If you watch like any other country's movies, aside from like some European movies, they're going to be mainly that nationality or that ethnicity, which rightfully so, it makes sense. Usually when I'm telling my Japanese friends about something that happened to me in the US and it involves like one of my friends of like from Nigeria or from Korea or from Peru or something like this, immediately I often hear "ina." Like the Japanese person is usually sidetracked by the fact that I have friends from various ethnicities, aside from what I'm trying to tell them. I wish you guys could have been there when Black Panther was released, or Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, or even Star Wars, or just like there's so many Hollywood movies that when they're released, Japanese people get really hyped for our characters, and it's regardless of the ethnicity. It really just makes me feel good, and it really makes me appreciate the diversity that we have as Americans. So when you consider the conveniences that the US has in terms of variety, and also just being direct, saying what you mean and meaning what you say, the US is pretty strong in just like how you deal with people, especially if you live in the city. But Japan makes it really easy to live here in terms of not worrying about how I'm going to eat or healthcare. My basic needs in Japan as a human are easily met. I cannot stress enough that the moment I learned conversational Japanese, doors just opened up for me. When I was just a beginner at Japanese, I thought I had everything down. I could move around the city, I can do things, but I couldn't make friends, I wasn't getting discounts, and I misunderstood so many things, including what I thought was racist and what was not racist. So this is why I stress, if you're coming to Japan for a long period of time, or even if you're coming for a short period of time, it is really important to learn Japanese phrases and to just get out of your comfort zone and talk to random people here in Japan. Be respectful. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let's hit 100,000 subscribers this year. I don't know, and I don't think that Japan is the best country in the world. I don't think there is a best country in the world. I can just walk down my neighborhood and I can go to a temple in my neighborhood that is older than my entire country. And right next to that, there's going to be a convenience store.